Well, 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 will you look who it is? Is it not Vanessa? On her own channel, actually making a video for once. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa if you are new here. Now, this week's video, I have a book haul for you all. I haven't done a book haul in like a good amount of time. I wouldn't say a year, but we're getting to that point, and that's surprising because you guys all know I love buying books that I never actually ever finish reading, but I love buying them nonetheless. So this week I have a handful, a big handful, like bigger than my handful of books to show you guys. I'm pretty sure a good portion of these books have already been featured on the channel, but I've taken some time to read them since being back in Los Angeles, and I want to show them again because I have some perspective or some like review on them, at least the portion that I've read of them. For those of you who do not know, I spent a lot of time this year in 2021 in Michigan. I came back to California back in June, and I've been here since. I was deciding about whether or not to go back to Michigan, but God has made it that I'm going to stay here in Los Angeles. So fortunately for myself, I have access to my bookshelf, which I haven't had access to in quite a while. So when I touched ground in California back in June, I quickly ran on my bookshelf and started reading the books that I had not finished. And I actually picked up a handful of books at the thrift store, which I'm not going to tell you which thrift store it is because I know you guys all too well. You guys will go to my thrift store and steal all the Catholic books or buy them. Do not steal. Do not steal these books, but I know you guys will buy them. Some of you guys have actually told me that you guys been to my thrift stores, and I'm just like, why? I need those books. How many of Why We're Catholic by Trent Horn have you guys bought in my place since I've been gone? Those are my books. Anyways, nonetheless, let us get into the books that I have added to my shelf or the books that I'd like to re-review for you guys to suggest for you guys to read. So let's get into it. The first book I got was on the chopping block for myself. I was at the thrift store and I had so many books because I hadn't been in the thrift store in a while back in June. And this book, I was like, should I get it? Should I not get it? And this was like, I was like not going to get it. But right at the end, I'm like, nope, I'm getting this book. And I am so thankful I did. I do not own a book like this on my bookshelf. As many of you guys know, I like to focus a lot on Catholics versus Protestants in my apologetic studies. I'm not too versed in like Latter-day Saints or Jehovah's Witnesses or arguing with atheists. And this is something that I really wanted to branch out to, but I just haven't had the opportunity. A lot of people don't understand this now, but I didn't understand this so recently. A lot of the apologists, though, they're amazing and they know everything about the faith, but a lot of them focus on certain groups or certain groups of people or certain topics, and they focus a lot of their studies there versus knowing it all, because we can't know everything all the time, and I thought I could. So I noticed that my focus is always on Protestants, and that's where I really feel comfortable with, but I do want to branch out because I want to be an apologist when I grow up. So anyways, getting into the book, it's called A Handbook of Christian Apologetics. Hundreds of answers to crucial questions. Do faith and reason conflict? Does God exist? Is the Bible a myth? Questions like that. And these are questions that are posed often by non-Christians. And this book is a Catholic book. It has Peter Kreeft, who has become one of my favorite authors out there as of lately. I have a few books that he wrote forwards for or little quotes for, and every single time I see Peter Kreeft on a book, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. It's similar to if Trent Horn endorses a book or says, I like this book, I'm like, I like it too. So that's how I'm feeling about Peter Kreeft lately. This book, honestly, I have to go back and reread when I read things in this book. Sorry if I'm out of focus, by the way. I have to go back and reread because the authors in this book dive so deep of things that I had never even considered. They talk about theories, they talk about the way that people argue, the way that people talk, or like they explain this theory and this theory. It's so mind-blowing that I'd never even considered these talking points. So I absolutely love this book. I highly suggest getting it. If I can find it online, if I can find it on Amazon, I'm going to link it down below. The next book I have for you guys, I'm not too sure if I've shown it on the channel before, but I picked it up because I used to want to be a history teacher. That was like one of my like little dreams I had. I wanted to be a chef. I want to be a history teacher. I want to be in Congress. There's so many little things I wanted to do, but history teacher was a big portion of my life. So I absolutely love the United States, and I love learning about the United States or learning about America. And this has continued into my adult life. My father was born on July 4th. So anything American, I absolutely love. I'm even wearing my New Balance tennies. Anyways, you guys didn't ask about that. But the next book I have is called Catholic Revivalism, the American Experience from 1830 to the 1900s. I love learning about the Americas and the history of the Americas, and especially if it has to do with Catholicism. Of course, I want to read it. I love reading history books, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. I haven't had the opportunity to read it yet, but I'm looking so forward to it. So if I find it online, I'll link it down below. Let me know, by the way, if you read any of these books, let me know what you guys think about them. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective. The next book is a book that I bought recently. I bought it back in June. Now, we all love Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen, so I picked up a book about him. It's called Through the Year with Fulton Sheen, Inspirational Selections for Each Day of the Year. I love books like this where they give you something to do every single day. I will admit I have not opened it up yet to read it, but I am looking forward to incorporating it in my daily life. Oh, I didn't even realize someone wrote in it. Father Stephen Barham in 1986 gave this to someone. So hello, Father Stephen Barham. Let's all say a prayer for him. In 1986, that was 11 years before I was born. How crazy. Anyways, I'm so looking forward to reading this book. I love Fulton J. Sheen. And oh, the author who like put this all together is from Michigan. What? How crazy is that? So anyways, let me know if you've read this one. The next book I have for you guys is one I'm not sure if I've shown on the channel before because I can't even remember when I purchased it, but it's called Scripture Matters, Essays on Reading the Bible from the Heart of the Church by Scott Hahn. We all love Scott Hahn. I love reading books by Scott Hahn. I know you guys do too. So I was super excited to find this book. Actually, there's no sticker on this. So this means that this book came from thrift books. Actually, no. This book must have came from the church. If you guys recall, a parish that I used to attend would have books on the table, and I would always get a new book outside of Mass because it was like you donate money. So you donate to the Goodwill. And so I would pick up books, and this book doesn't have a sticker on it. So that means I must have got this like back last year. Actually, no, I got this like back like early 2020 because they haven't been doing it since the whole thing started in March. So this book I've had for a while and I totally forgot about it. Hence why I don't know where I got it from. But I'm going to totally be reading this now that I'm staying in Los Angeles and I have access to all of my books. The next book I have for you guys is called The Authority of the Bible, Theories of Inspiration, Revelation, and the Canon of Scripture. Now, I think it's so important to understand where the authority of the Bible comes from. And so I love reading different people's like insight and perspectives on the topic, ways of explaining things. Even though I own a lot of books that like overlap, all of them basically overlap in information. I love hearing how people explain certain things because sometimes someone will explain something and it'll totally go over my head, but then another person will explain and I'm like, oh, I totally get it. And I think that's why I really enjoy Trent Horn's books. I don't know if we think similarly, but when he explains something, it clicks. It makes sense. But then there's other apologists where I'm just like, what are you saying to me? I don't understand. And so I don't know if this is similar for you guys. Is there an apologist out there where you're like, when they explain something, it's just like, I got it. But there's like other apologists that you don't? Like, let me know. Or if there's a certain topic, like for instance, indulgences. That was one I couldn't get for so long. And it wasn't until I read Jimmy Akin's article did I actually understand indulgences. So let me know if there's a topic out there that you struggled with and then one particular apologist or one particular person or article just opened up your mind to understanding it. Let me know. I'm really curious about that. But yeah, so I'm super excited to read this book called The Authority of the Bible, and I got this from the thrift store, and I'm not going to tell you which thrift store, even though I probably already said it in the video, but I'm not going to tell you what city it's in. But if you guys are in La Mirada, the thrift store called Savers, I just said the name, is my thrift store, okay? Leave those books for me. I need them. Okay, you guys can have the one in Arcadia. You guys can have that at Savers. I never go over there, but the one in La Mirada, that's my thrift store, okay? That's my thrift store. Next book I have for you guys is called The AntiMary Exposed. Now, you guys recommended this book to me like so many times. I saw it all over social media, and randomly, my mother purchased it for me. She had never saw it online, but just randomly, she's just like, I'm just gonna buy it for her. And I actually have 2 copies of it now. And I was supposed to do a giveaway, but things kind of got a little strange during the time that I said I was going to do a giveaway. Life is throwing me lemons, but I'm making lemonade, or I'm trying to. You know, I'm squeezing it into my water, my ice water, trying to, you know, detox or whatever. You know, life is throwing me the lemons. But nonetheless, I hope to do that giveaway and hope to like give away more things, like maybe a rosary. I'm gonna start accumulating things, and we're gonna do a giveaway very, very soon. Do not worry. But this is called The AntiMary Exposed: Rescuing the Culture from Toxic Femininity. I am not a feminist whatsoever. I'm not a first wave feminist at all. Like, Timothy Gordon totally changed my mind when he was arguing with Trent Horn about that. I totally agree with Timothy Gordon. I'm not a first, second, third wave feminist. I'm none of them. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I have opened it up and I've read a few chapters. I will admit I haven't finished it yet, but I know you guys spoke so highly about it, so I can't wait to finish it. I just have so many books to get to. I can't. Like, I love collecting them. I have a bad habit of collecting books and then just like not reading them the whole way through. Do you guys also relate to that? Let me know. The next book I have is called The Life in Christ, a Catholic Catechism for Adults. I love buying catechisms or like explanation of the catechisms because I love, once again, hearing other people's insights or perspectives. So this book, for instance, covers how do we know that God exists? Who is Jesus of Nazareth? Can we speak? Who is Jesus of Nazareth? What is a sin? Answers questions like this, and I always love these books because they're so handy, especially when I'm doing a topic in a video. I'll go like, okay, which books cover the topic that I want to talk about? I pull it from my shelf, I read it, and then I come up with my own way of explaining it. And so I'm not just grabbing from one book, I'm grabbing from a lot of different books, and that's why I love buying books similar to this. Also, the next book I show you is also for the same reason. I just like buying books that talk about the same thing because I love hearing it over and over again. Like I said, the next book is The Essential Catholic Handbook, a summary of beliefs, practices, and prayers. Although I'm a cradle Catholic, I was born Catholic, I was raised Catholic, and I really delved into the faith a few years ago, there's still a lot of things that I don't know. And I will probably never know everything. I know for sure I will never know everything. So I love picking up books like this because not only are they good for reference if someone asks me a question for a video, but it's also good when I have a question. So I love buying these books. This book covers what are the major shrines of Our Lady, how do Catholics pray the Rosary, what are the 7 sacraments, and why do Catholics genuflect. So interesting topic to talk about. Oh, what saint's feast day is celebrated on July 4th? That's one of the questions. My dad was born on July 4th. How lovely. Let me know if you guys know anyone born on July 4th. It's a great day to be born. The next book I got is one that I'm so excited for, and I've actually already started reading. It's called Evangelicals. I always say that word wrong, so if I'm saying Evangelicals, I feel like I'm still saying it wrong. Let me know how to say it. You know, I'll just Google it after this. Evangelicals and Catholics Toward a Common Mission Together. Now, this book has a quote by Peter Kreeft, so right when I saw it, I was just like, I always read the front, the back, and I look around, I saw Peter Kreeft, so I'm like, okay, buying this book for sure. So what I really like about this book is that since I haven't finished it, so I'm not going to talk about it in its entirety, but it basically explains that it's not so much Catholics against Protestants or Catholics against Evangelicals, but you know, Catholics and Evangelicals are both striving to find the truth of our Lord Jesus Christ and to teach the truth. And so oftentimes we butt heads or we seem like we're in conflict with each other when the actual conflict is the world around us that has caused us to separate. Sin has caused us to separate from one another or see that we don't see eye to eye on certain things, when it's actually us against the evil of the world or the lies of the world or sin. It's us against that, not so much us against each other. And that once we recognize that, so this book kind of goes and said, once we like recognize that, hey, maybe we both have this like common goal, that we can work together to reach the fullness of truth and, you know, bring the unity to the Church of Christ, even though the Church is united, the Catholic Church. You guys get what I'm saying. So I'm looking forward to reading this book and learning the perspective of these authors. It is by Charles Colson and Richard John Neuhaus, I think. It says editors on the bottom. Now I'm confused. I don't know who wrote it, but I'll have a link down below so you guys can pick it up if you guys are interested. I also got this one from the thrift store. So thank you so much to the person that donated it. I appreciate it. His name's in the book, but I can't read it. But thank you. Let's say a prayer for him. The next book that I have for you guys is one that my older sister purchased for me. We got into an argument a few weeks ago. We were in Lake Arrowhead, and we were like butting heads. And she took off, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. I don't want to hang out with you if you're going to be mean to me. And she's probably saying, whatever, I don't want to hang out with you if you're being mean to me. So she went off, and all of a sudden she comes back, and she's storming to me. And I'm just like, what is she going to do? Are we about to start this argument in front of this like beautiful lake? No, she approached me with this book, and it's called The Lady in Waiting. My older sister picked up this book back in 2014, maybe late 2013, early 2014, and she got it from this like Christian bookstore located in the Lake Arrowhead little village, and the store owner told her to pick up this book, and she read it, and months later, maybe even weeks later, days later, I'm not even sure, but it was a short time period, she ended up meeting the man who is her husband now. And I absolutely love Joshua, my brother-in-law. I love the relationship my sister and Joshua have. I'm so blessed to have him in my life. He's truly a blessing. His whole family is a blessing. And so when she picked up this book for me, I was just like, okay, I'm reading it. If I can bring a man like Joshua to my family to be a part of my family, because I have no brothers or anything. And Joshua has really like shown me what having a brother is like. And my younger sister has Trevor, and he's also shown me what having a brother is like. I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to bring a brother into this family. You know what? I need to do my part in this growth of our family. I'm the only sister that has not contributed to this growing of our family. So when she gave me this book, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going to read it. It's called Becoming God's Best While Waiting for Mr. Right. I recently was heavily criticized by my aunt and my uncle. Not only did they criticize me for being Catholic, not only did they criticize me for what I wear, for what I do, for how I speak, for what I studied, they criticize me all the time. You know, they criticize me even when I'm not doing anything. They recently were criticizing me because I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and apparently me being striving for this goal of being a stay-at-home mom is to be looked negatively upon. And if I want to be a stay-at-home mom, then basically I'm saying that every person that works that's a female is like doing it wrong, which is never a comment I've ever made in my life. And so I don't even know why I brought this up. I'm going to do a video on this probably in the future once I do more research. But I want to be a holy woman. I want to be a woman for God, so that when I meet my husband, we can both move closer to the truth, move closer to God together. And when my sister bought me this book, I was like, perfect. It's going to be so helpful and useful for me in this time of singleness in my life. For those of you who don't know, I've been single for about 3 years now, so it's been quite a while, and I haven't been like not dating, but it's not like I have been dating. You know, I've been spending a lot of time with the Lord. I've been spending a lot of time with my family, growing as a person, and I've truly became someone different than I was back when I was in a relationship back in 2018. So this book I'm looking forward to reading, and if I read this book, I'll let you know in 2 years if it worked, because I plan on, you know, having some time of dating. So we won't know if this book works for another few years. But if I finish this book and the guy who I meet the day after ends up being my husband in 2 years, I'll let you guys know. Okay, I'm going to let you guys know. But looking forward to read this book. I will admit, if you guys do pick up this book, it is by a Protestant author. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you're like me and you're like, I only like reading from Catholic authors. That's kind of how I am a lot of the times. This is written by a Protestant author, so just keep that in mind before you buy it. The next book I have for you guys is called Columbus and the Quest for Jerusalem. I've already shown this on the channel before, but I'm going to show it again because I absolutely love it. This is by Carol Delaney. Now, Carol Delaney, she is not a Catholic, but she talks so highly of the Catholic that is Columbus. Now, if you live in the United States, you probably have heard your fair share about Columbus or about Columbus. You know, we're kind of taught here in the United States to kind of like hate the man, and in school they teach you this, and so I never knew who Columbus was, and you know, there was no reason for me not to trust my teacher. So when they tell me that this man is bad, I'm thinking, oh man, this man must be bad. So when I came across this book, my mom bought it for me. I didn't end up opening it up until I saw her interviewed on Catholic Answers, and I was like, wait, I own her book. And I absolutely fell in love once I opened up this book. You learn so much in the first few pages. You learn so much about Columbus. And what I absolutely love about this book is that it's not just a typical history book, but it's a book that brings so much perspective. Now, Carol Delaney is an anthropologist. And when you study like archaeology and anthropology, or you're one of these things, I studied it for 3 semesters in college, but I don't know enough about it. But basically, when you study anthropology, you immerse yourself in the time of what you're studying. So like if you're looking at some sort of fossil, you don't just look at the fossil from 2021's perspective, you look at it like as though you're in that time period. And so that really is what stood out to me about Carol Delaney, is that she really immerses herself in the story of Columbus. She went to the sites where Columbus was. She didn't just like study it from afar at some library in her hometown. She actually went to the sites to fully understand why this happened. Because a lot of the times when people read things, specifically the Bible, they read the Bible as though they're reading it for today. Though all the teachings are for today. God is the same as he was yesterday, as he is today, as he is tomorrow. But they look at it and they don't understand the context of what was happening during this time and why certain things may have been said, why certain things may have been like emphasized versus not emphasized on a different thing. And so context is so important, and Carol Delaney does not leave out the context. And so this book is amazing. If you want to learn about Columbus and you want to learn about the truth of this, pick up this book. I highly suggest it. Like I said, she is not a Catholic, but she speaks so highly of the Catholic Church, and that comes a lot from someone who doesn't call himself Catholic, because you know what? A lot of the times I recognize that people don't owe anyone anything. You know, you don't have to speak highly of any group at all. But she speaks so highly of Christopher Columbus. Like, she speaks with passion, she speaks with love, she speaks with understanding. You guys gotta pick up this book. I don't care. If you guys don't buy any of these books I show, pick up this book, learn the truth about Christopher Columbus, support Carol Delaney, and if you guys want to hear a little bit of snippet that comes from this book, you know, like some of her perspective, I'll link the interview she did with Catholic Answers for Catholic Answers Focus. It streams it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, so I'll have a link to the YouTube video down below so you guys can check it out. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you happen to like it, please give it a like, and if you happen like me, and you want to support me and you want to see more of me, please hit the subscribe button and also turn on the bell notification so you're notified when I post. I'm going to try to be going live more often, so I really encourage you guys to hit that bell icon so that you know when I go live. Though I'm planning on keeping the live streams more live. Like I said, life has been throwing lemons at me, and I've been getting sucker punched in the face for them. You know, I have bruises everywhere from these lemons hitting me. So I'm not too sure how often or like how frequently I will. Is that the same thing? How often, how frequent? I think it's the same thing. I'm not too sure when I'll be able to live stream, but when I am able to live stream, I will. So that's why I really encourage you, if you guys are interested in coming to a live stream, please hit that bell notification thing so you know when I go live. I want to thank you guys so much for all your love, prayers, support. Everything that you guys offer me is truly appreciated in the bottom of my heart. I love you guys all. You guys really have shown me what family is, especially when people who are blood to me haven't shown me what family is, unfortunately. So I thank you guys for making up for that empty space in my heart. I really do appreciate it. I love you guys all, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in my next video. Bye-bye.